DC Attorney General Jeanine Pirro has suffered yet another embarrassing legal defeat. A Washington, D.C. woman accused of assaulting a federal agent was found not guilty by a jury on Thursday. Prosecutors had alleged that Sidney Lori Reid had kicked an FBI agent during an altercation outside the D.C. jail back in July. Reid had been filming immigration and customs enforcement officers while they were detaining a man who had just been released from jail. Now, Pirro's office had tried 3 times to indict Reid on a felony assault charge. However, D.C. grand juries had declined to return an indictment each time. Hey, wait a minute. I thought it was, look, it's supposed to be able to indict a ham sandwich. Okay. They can't do it. Jeanine Pirro can't even indict a ham sandwich or a person who throws a ham sandwich, okay? Or Subway sub, whatever. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Absolute embarrassing failure. Sad. Hey, you know what? 3 strikes, you're out. And, well, now that they're out, they had to lower the charge, okay? Lower the charge. Prosecutors ended up trying to get Reid on a misdemeanor charge of assaulting or impeding a federal agent, but they couldn't even land that one. Nope, couldn't even land that one. The jury deliberated for less than 2 hours on Thursday before returning the verdict of not guilty. WUSA 9 reported. Oops.
Whoopsie.
Oh, no. Oh, Reid, in a statement through her attorneys, said the verdict shows, quote, that this administration and their peons are not able to invoke fear in all citizens. I feel sorry for the prosecutors, really, who must be burdened by Trump's irrational and unfounded hatred for his fellow man. I love her already. Okay, yes. Knowing that I can stand in front of 12 of my fellow citizens and be found not guilty for standing up for basic human rights makes me feel like, despite the scary times we live in, we have hope for the future. Oh, I love it. Now, what about Pirro? A spokesman for Pirro could not immediately be reached on Thursday. Oops. Perhaps they were too busy drowning their sorrows in a box of Merlot or something. Okay, I'm pretty sure Jeanine Pirro has an extensive wine cabinet. Okay. Is it wine cabinet, wine closet, probably wine cave? Okay. Or for her, wine complex. Okay. Now, that said, Reid's public defenders, Taziro Abe and Eugene Ohm, said in a statement the case was meant to be a warning from the Justice Department that it would have the backs of ICE goons. And though we're pleased with the result, Ms. Reid cannot get back the 2 nights she spent in jail because ICE wanted to teach her a lesson. Exactly, and that really is the big takeaway here. What they're doing is not about law and order, it is about instilling fear. Okay, and getting people used to seeing troops on the streets. Now, the good thing is that, again, patriotic Americans are saying we are not afraid of you or your jackbooted thugs, your Gestapo, okay, and your prosecutors that keep bringing bullshit cases. We are going to make sure that you keep losing. And they have been. In several of these cases, prosecutors initially pursued felony charges that would have carried up to 8 years in prison, but were forced to drop them after either grand juries rejected them or the weaknesses in their case became all too apparent. And a lot of this played out in court where judges, at least 2 of them, were actually berating the prosecutors for bringing these cases. Like, what are you doing here? You are wasting not only my time, the court's time, but you're also wasting taxpayer money on this garbage. In fact, in a closing argument for Reid, Abe referred to the federal agents as a lawless goon squad. Again, I love it. These are public defenders, by the way. Yeah, all respect to them. Like, holy crap. By the way, like, a friend of the show, Olayemi Alurin, is also I believe she's a public defender. So there you go. Based as hell. Anyway, here's what Abe argued. Says, you should be livid that the government even brought this case. Yeah, I am. And so is every other good American. Okay, good patriotic American citizens should be against this kind of lawfare. Okay, now Paul Nguyen, who had been accused of assaulting a Department of Homeland Security officer during an early morning scuffle near a bar, ended up spending 4 nights in jail, even though his case was ultimately thrown out. Nguyen told the HuffPost of his stay at the DC jail, quote, "It was the scariest experience of my life." He added that he intended to file a civil lawsuit over the ordeal. Yes, do it. Do it. Do it. I love it. No, seriously. That would be awesome. Legal experts who spoke to HuffPost last month said that Pirro's office is basically just overcharging people for tiny offenses, and said that doing this could destroy the public trust in city prosecutors. Quote, this is Paul Butler, a professor at the Georgetown University Law Center. When they throw the book at people for minor crimes, it kind of maps onto the sense that a lot of people in the black community have, that prosecutors are out to lock up everybody they can. That the interest isn't so much public safety as it is putting people in prison. Not wrong. Not wrong. In fact, I love how he brought up the black community, because that's exactly how they've been treated for a very, very long time. And now everyone else is getting a taste of it. So, and it turns out it's kind of bitter. Okay? They're like, ooh, I don't like this at all. And black people, the whole time, black people are like, first time? Yeah. Well, hey, great. And here's the thing. People may be late to the party, but hey, at least they're here now. Maybe that will lead to some change. Now, Abe and Ohm said that they have faith that the jurors will continue to reject cases that they believe are lacking merit. And that's pretty much every case that Jeanine Pirro is bringing to them, okay? In fact, they said the Department of Justice can continue to take these cases to trial to suppress dissent and to try to intimidate the people. But in the end, as long as we have a jury system, our citizens will continue to rebuke the DOJ through speedy acquittals. Now, that actually brings me to a little bit of a fear, okay? Fear that this administration will somehow try to get rid of the jury system. I mean, look, they've already taken over the courts for the most part, okay? At least when it comes to the Supreme Court, when it comes to some of the district courts. My fear is, as they continue to be embarrassed like this by juries, that they will somehow find a way to start trying people without juries. I don't know how they will do that. It's just one of my fears here, okay, that they'll try to get around that system because they're like, oh man, turns out the people not exactly in favor of our baseless prosecutions. Now, thankfully, we haven't gotten to that point yet, but I wouldn't be shocked if they eventually do try. And so I'm just going to keep my eyes open, okay, and look for anything that shows you that, hey, the Republicans, the right wing, the far right, is trying to get rid of the jury system. And if that does happen, then we are, as a country, in a world of hurt, even more so than we are now. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down,
You can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.